Hi everyone, Jack from Maths Forge here. In today's lesson, we're going to be doing multiplication. So let's take a look at our one-star example. We have 2 times 30. Now, how you multiply single digits with numbers that end in a 0 and have a value in their tens column is like this. You do 2 times 3, which is 6. And then because there was a 0 at the end of the 3 in the question, there's a 0 at the end of your answer. Now, the actual maths behind this is if you calculated it using the column method, you will find that you'll end up with 60. So 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 3 is 6, and of course, if we simplify it, we end up with 60. So the method that I explained to you at the start is just a really quick way of getting about questions that look like this. A single digit multiplied by a number in the tens column followed by a 0. Let's try another one. So 20 times 7. So I'm going to do 2 times 7, which is 14. And there's a 0 at the end of one of the numbers in the question. So there's going to be a 0 at the end of my answer. And if we just check our answer, there it is. Okay, now let's do a 2-star example. We have 9 multiplied by 45. So how you approach this is you can use the column method, or you can use various other types of methods. In this case, I'm going to be using the box method. So we have a 9 on its own. So I'm just going to go ahead and write that down here, 9. And then we have 45. Now, when you read this number 45, there is a 40 component, 45. There's a 40 component, which I'm going to write here. And then there's a 5 component, 45. There's a 5 component, which I'm going to write in a separate space here. Another way of thinking about this is you take the number and you break it down into its columns. So there's a 40 in this column, so I write it here, and the 5 in the units column, so I write it here. Now you go ahead and calculate this as follows. 9 times 40. Well, it's going to be 9 times 4, which is 36. And there's a 0 at the end of the question, so there must be a 0 at the end of the answer, as we've done in the 1-star questions. And then that's done, so 40 and 9 have been multiplied together. Now we're going to do 9 times 5, which is 45. And we have no other numbers to calculate. So we've seen here that this 360 was calculated from the 9 times 40, and this 45 was calculated from the 9 times 5. You're going to go ahead and add everything up that has been calculated. So I'm going to add the 360 and the 45. So 360 and the 45. And addition at this stage should be pretty straightforward, especially using the column method. So we're going to have 0 plus 5, which is 5, 6 plus 4, which is 10. So there's a 0 here and carry the 1 over. 3 plus nothing is 3, plus 1 is 4. So our answer to 9 times 45 should be 405. Let's check our answer. There it is. Let's do another 2-star example. So we have 47 multiplied by 2. So the 47, I'm going to break up into 40 and 7. And the 2 is just written as a 2. So now let's go ahead with this calculation. 2 times 40, well, 2 times 4 is 8, and there's a 0 at the end of the question, so there's a 0 at the end of the answer. And 2 times 7 is 14, and that goes there. And now we add all of the numbers that have been calculated together, so 80 and 14, so 80 plus 14, and this will give us 0 plus 4 is 4, 8 plus 1 is 9. So 94 should be our final answer, and if we check it, there it is. I just want to say, notice how it doesn't matter where you place the numbers. So the 40 and the 7, I could have placed it on top, and the 2, I could have placed it on the side. It really doesn't make a difference as long as you are calculating it correctly. Okay, now we're going to do a 3-star example. So we have 27. So I'm going to break it up into 20 and 7, and they do go beside each other like this. And 63. So I'm going to break this up into 60 and 3. And now I'm going to multiply the column with the rows. So 60 times 20. So 6 times 2 is 12. And there's a 0 at the end of the 60 here, and the 0 at the end of the 20 here. So it's going to be 0, 0. So 1,200. And now I'm going to do 20 times 3. Well, that's 3 times 2, which is 6. And there's only one 0 here, which is at the end of the 20. So that's going to go here. And now we'll do 60 times 7. So 7 times 6 is 42. But then there is a 0 at the end of the 60. So I'm going to put a 0 here, 420. And now I'm going to do 7 times 3, which is 21. So now we have to be careful. We're going to add these numbers up together. These numbers here at the center. The numbers that we got by multiplying the rows and the columns. So let's go ahead and add them together. It's going to be 1,200 plus 60 plus 420 plus 21. Let's rule off. So it's going to be 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1, which is 1. 0 plus 6 plus 2, which is 8, plus 2, which is 10. So there's going to be a 0 here and the 1 carried over. 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 1 is 7, and 1 plus nothing just leaves us with 1. So our final answer should be 1,701. Let's check our answer. There it is. And that's it for multiplication. So just be careful when you're using the box method to separate your numbers correctly and to add the numbers in the central region here.